When did you notice the horny disease in your game?
When Garbu put on the cat ears.
Be Forever DM, 2018. Party is 3 paladins, 1 ranger, and an artificer. 2 of the paladins are pretty unique. One who worships money, dwarf, and another who worships the passing of souls, edgy human. Last pally is a generic Justice Deus Vult kind, human. All the paladins are dudes. Ranger is a wood elf woman, super unique, I know. She's the dwarf player's childhood sweetheart, not girlfriend. Artificer is the designated weeb. His end goal is to make a Gundam suit or something.
Oh, sure, did they not put that out? Oh no, I think that came out in like 2020. They did the Artificer battle armor. They made Iron Man essentially, so that would have actually been so much easier.
With that info, let me tell you the start of the horny plague that has just taken over my local tabletop role-playing group scene. Don't have a lot of time, I'm at work, Party is around level 3, been playing this campaign for a bit. Players have the next clue to my masterfully created story. A pile of Gollum's spell scroll. The Sheckled Dwarf. The Sheckled Dwarf wants to do a few side jobs before investigating my plot hook. Adventurers Guild has few jobs. Players pick one without killing a goblin cult. Goblins lose their biggest goblin boss and are now worshipping this old sword and tankard, trying to resurrect him. They worship by stealing booze and food and pouring it all over the ground around their altar. A lot of story for a side quest, but I'm still autistic that way.
Look, it's okay. The thing is, I love goblins. Mm-hmm. Give me the gobby story, alright?
Attack goes well. Most goblins are eviscerated, but sneak some decent damage on the paladin. Get to final room. Ranger is half health from a lucky torch throw and unlucky rolls to put out the fire from Miss Unique Elf Ranger. Now Miss Unique isn't a blue-haired feminist ham planet who hates anyone with BMI not divisible by 10, but she was a couple of bad relationships away from one. She fell more into the frumpy, self-saving princess category, and that attitude was mostly reflected on her character. This all to say, when she ran into the altar room alone, no one was surprised. The surprise was the 2 hobgoblins who were worshipping their fallen god by pouring beer and rotten food in themselves. Miss Unique asked if they were wearing any armour, or if they were naked for their gross ritual.
Oh, of course, this is where it starts.
Huh? Yeah, they are. Except for a belt holding a crude ceremonial knife. Miss Unique voices just slightly shifts as she asks to slide in and trying to grapple while pulling out some rope to tie the hobs. Yeah, that's a pretty complex move. You'll have to roll high to get that done. Yeah, I know. Warning lights begin spinning up in my head. She rolls a 7 + 1 failure. Yeah, you slide in, startling the hobs. One jumps on the altar and pulls out his knife. I jump up too. Acrobatics check? Yes. Okay, the other one jumps up too. They have you flanked. I'm going to drop to my knees. Warning lights increase in speed. I look at the other guys, but they want to see what Miss Unique's gonna do. She always has creative combat ideas. Okay, as you get in your knees, the reddish hob grabs your head. Her pupils fucking dilate to the size of quarters, and she takes a sharp breath. I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to think about how she's looking at me. Saved by the fucking bell. Artificer phone rings and he's got to go. Miss Unique asks if we can play without him. No, I want everyone to be here.
Oh.
She's upset by this. She helps clean up and asks if we can do some one-on-one session. Spurgout don't want to get raped because it's her kink.
Well, we've worked that out by now, haven't we?
Later on that day, she changes her Discord profile pic to pic related.
Fuck off. No, she didn't.
She doesn't.
Not. That's okay. So, if you guys don't know, I haven't actually watched it, but I've heard enough about it. It's Goblin Slayer, and I think everyone knows what happens in Goblin Slayer. We really need to get down to watching that, if I'll be honest with you. I've heard so much about it, but I've kind of been put off by it, just because it's like, oh man,
you need to watch
Goblin Slayer. It's actually really good. It's like, does it not involve like a lot of like pervy goblins? Like, yeah, but like, that's not important. It's like, okay.
Now, Frank was the spitting image of Fat Bastard. He wasn't all that fun to play with either, but he had a ton of models and terrain and knew the rules in a non-asshole way. He was kinda a backseat DM, but just for shit I didn't know. I also didn't know that he was into Shota.
Oh, for God's sake, why? Why? Did any of you guys see, it came out like last week, the week before, you know that pedo on Twitter, Sadman, or Shadman, or whatever you call him, so he draws like hentai girls. So he does, but his face got doxed, so it did.
Did it?
Yeah. So
Does he look like a pedo?
Not overly, but I can't really. It was one of those ones I kind of just kept scrolling whenever I saw it.
Right.
I never really looked into it.
Because I know Neckbeardia isn't weebs and will read this thread, Shota is lolly, but for little boys.
Great. Thanks. Thanks.
But he wouldn't play as Shotas, because he wanted to groom Shotas. In my defense, I didn't realise this until much later, and if he ever comes back from Kentucky, I'm gonna kick his ass.
What? See, this is the thing that gets me about the whole anime stuff. It's like, why does this even exist?
I know.
How did this come to be? What's going on, guys? What's going on? Seriously? Questions need to be asked here.
Frank was playing a big titty elf Claire. Would try to keep goblin, hobbit, human, orphans around as long as possible. Tried to convince a caravan to alter their route so he could go see this one kid in a town. What the fuck? No. We need to bring this ore to the king so the capital will defend against the Golem army. Constantly asked how young NPCs were, and I typically put them around 19 or 20, if not specifically older. He never tried anything too bad. It was only recently when it clicked for me. Fuck you, Frank. I'll use your real name and I hope you get sucked into a jet engine.
Okay, we can't say that. I kind of need more.
I need more.
I need more. How does this come to be? How does it, what... You know what, I feel like this, it feels like, the Chris Channon crew, the Geno Samuels, what happened to him? What went on?
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Geography guy was perfectly normal. Good role player, good hygiene. Frank was pretty bad. Had a normal job, etc. Until... Wait, there's no river next to this town? Yeah, they get their water from the well. That doesn't make sense then. Yeah it does. Wells work just fine for what... Cuts me off. No, you said that this town is a major part of the trade circle, and the trade circle is mainly based on river barges. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm gonna, look, he is correct.
He is correct.
I'm gonna put that out there.
That's how banished works.
I mean, it's true though, if you, before any of this, gun and water, it helps a lot, just saying. Look at any European major city, it's on a river.
Yeah, Geo guy would do shit like that. Which is whatever, But he really liked maps. I mean, really liked maps. He would just sit and look at them for hours at a time. Even when I offered to do something else, he would prefer to look at maps. It got to a point where someone made a joke about Geo Guy jerking off to maps of water tables. Geo Guy flushed red and then started laughing along with us. Why did he flush?
I mean, see that...
Well, you've been looking at a lot of maps recently, James.
Well, Megan, that's because I'm working on a lot of stuff, okay? I'm working on a lot of stuff, and maps are very fascinating. One of my friends is actually really into maps. He's one of those, autismo types, and he will, any capital city, he can tell you. He can tell you, minor, not even big cities.
Yeah, minor cities.
And countries you've never heard of before. It's really bizarre. He's one of those types of guys that would just sit and look at a globe all day and be very content.
Oh, haha, look at that coastline. That tributary though.
I mean, let's be serious. Norway is so unrealistic. How does it exist? And also, Italy. What's this about? Italy, their favourite sport is football, and their country is literally a leg kicking a ball. Let's just be come on, catch a bit of reality here, guys. That's never going to be realistic at all.
Jokes. But then he started to bring it up out of the blue. Like when the party would be talking about assaulting 1T
yeah, I know.
temple complex.
Snake people, Megan in words, am I right, guys? Neckbeardia, this whole channel in words, am I right, guys?
He would say shit like, "Oh, I'll be assaulting, alright, assaulting that hill with my dick." Other weird stuff like that. Too often to be just jokes. Surprisingly, Chio Guy didn't have a car, so one day he called me up and asked if he can get a ride to college on Monday. Sure, no problem.
Okay.
I pull up to his place Monday. It's in a nice neighbourhood, flowers along his driveway. Knock on the door, I'm showing up a little late. No answer. I try again. Nothing. Try the door. It opens, and I yell inside for Geo Guy. Quiet house. Head over to his room. Maybe he slept in or something. I see his desktop first because he's got a huge TV first screen. He's looking at a topographical map of Arizona. He's standing, cock in his hand, moving like a woodpecker. What the fuck? He freezes, looks back, jerks it 2 more times.
No, he does not.
I'm fucking dumbfounded. Oh, hey, Anon, is it already 10:30? Autism, shock, whatever you want to call it, squeezes out a, yeah, I'll be in the car. You really do like looking at maps, huh? I didn't see his response because I turned 360 degrees and got the fuck out of there. He got in the car a few minutes later, totally dressed, all normal, except for his red face.
Did he not? I'm going to assume he didn't manage to finish.
So, Anon, about that. I'm not fucking about to talk about him fucking his hand while looking at the elevation of Snowflake, Arizona. Geo guy, I really don't want to talk. Or think right now. Shut up, please. He didn't show up to the next session, but did the one after that. And he never made eye contact with me, except to ask about one or two things. He kinda just stopped showing up altogether. I think I saw that he got married a bit ago. Sure hope she's okay wearing dresses with River Delta and temperature averages the bed.
There's more to that than there has to be. I don't. No, there's no way. That is so ridiculous. There's no way that type of stuff works for people. No way.
Look, I've been on the internet long enough now that I found out a lot of weird things work for people, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah, honestly, you're right. I suppose. Why am I even trying to?
Look at the sexy curves and rivers.
I
Them
know.
lines, them sexy.
I know.
I don't know.
Oh, Jesus. Do you know how wide the Amazon goes in some places? Oh, my
I'm
God.
wet and deep.
Oh, my God. See, the Nile? That shit just does it for me. The Nile. Nile! This is ridiculous. There's no way this is true. This has to be made up. But it's so ridiculous, it might just be true, though. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Right, you slimy human maggots. We has been working hard at Neckbeardia to get the bestest little people that monies can buy. We got all the boys here. We got the boys, the lizard boys, vampire boys, all the boys over at Neckbeardia. Oh, we also got some pretty girls too. But I can't really make out which one's the boys and which one's the girls sometimes. But anyway, I need more monies to get more daggers, so get on over and order some now, you filthy pigs.
Every video that we post, we're going to be giving away all of our homebrew content to one lucky winner. Every video. All you have to do to be in with a chance to win is to be subscribed, leave a comment, and like this video. And today's lucky winner is this guy. Well done! Well done! To claim your prize, just send an email to neckbeardiacontact@gmail.com. Now let's get back to the video. There was an RPG society in my local area in northwest UK. They did frequent LARP events with other societies and groups throughout the year. When I was a bit older, I met a couple of them in an open day and joined, only to find over the course of 2 years it was a front for the fucked up lifestyle of some real psycho local village types.
What?
Most of the activities were official meetups, but some of the more unofficial ones were basically dogging groups.
Yeah, that's kind of what
who'd have orgies and tents in the middle of a field.
That's unironically what I've actually heard
about LARP camp.
Essentially,
the people I know that go to LARP all say it's absolutely wild.
Yeah, I'm not even taking the piss. They all go to this one over in England, and I'm pretty sure it's like somewhere like Manchester, so it would be northwest England. So this could be the same one that a few of my friends go to.
Could be.
So let's just keep going.
I knew that it was about time to leave when 90% of the games I played were with people with the same body count, with each other, and they all had passed STDs around to each other like vaginal warts of the clap.
Ugh.
It was often safer to game with openly gay players because if you said no, they'd leave it at that. It would get real sketchy on bank holiday weekends as they'd drop pills and huff poppers for 2 days and do nothing but camp out and fuck each other like some kind of weird festival. You'd have some of the girls and guys literally take dozens of loads from different people over the weekend, and it's not like there were showers or bathrooms nearby. It sounds wacky and cool as a story, but it was seedy and grim to the extreme. It was always happening in places like rundown houses or council flats that were like squatter havens, with shit like communal mattresses on the floor and boarded up windows. Or the hosts would be living on the property line and use it as a way of getting food, drugs and alcohol, or ways to get others to top up their electricity meters.
I mean, just get a magnet like a normal human being. What he's doing.
Other times, It was in woods or in hard-to-reach locations, so you'd have 6 to 7 people crammed into a small car, taking country roads to avoid being pulled over. I'm pretty sure most of them were in a cult or alternative religion. I got the fuck out anyway when it became clear that they were getting uncomfortable. That I didn't want to join them, and they began constantly showing up when I was out and about during the week.
So this is the thing,
that
right?
Is wild.
That is one of the weirdest ones, but it doesn't show up at all on the site.
No, it doesn't.
So what is it with, particularly, sex cults or sex organizations? They either tend to be poverty-stricken or extremely high-end, and there's no in-between. They're either in, and what is it with England and, what is it with the Anglo and the perverted nature of them?
We're all too pretty over here to do that.
No, England's wild.
No, but over here we're too pretty.
I think Northern Ireland is very pretty compared to England.
Not if you went to box on a Saturday night. Every girl was getting fingered in the
Aye, but that's different. That's a nightclub. You know what I mean? Nightclubs in the Western world are nightclubs in the Western world. Let's just be serious. But no. So what is it, especially with England? And the Whammy Savelle. How can you say his name?
I don't know.
Jammies.
I don't know who you're trying to
Jammy Sabbles.
Oh.
Jabby Sabbles. But you know what I mean?
He'll fix you good.
Yeah, he will fix you good. And everyone knows Andrew. And honestly, Prince Andrew's a fall guy. Let's be serious. He's a nobody when it comes to the big picture of things. Yeah. He's just he's a sacrificial lamb for the altar. You know what I mean? Let's just be serious. What is it with sex cults? And they're either, as I say, they're either poverty-stricken, hobo sex cults, or what?
Jammy Savelle, I can't.
But you know what I mean? Is there something about that? And one of my friends, I was talking to this about a while back, and he said what he believes is the poorer people are, the more likely they are interested in violence and blood sports.
Yeah.
And the more money that people have, the more likely they are to be more inclined into depraved, sexual twisted acts.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? And I think that could be true. I do think there's definitely something in people. Or at least I've noticed it. What do you guys think? Is there any correlation there? But then again, you look at a lot of sex cults and there is loads of homeless people essentially in stuff like this. Put it like this. Do you remember so there was this here Trump from where we live, right? I'm telling you, everyone's seen him fuck his sister in a phone box.
Oh yeah.
Anyone I've ever spoken to would be like, yeah mate, I saw that too.
All the time.
That's just what he's gone dead now, so he is. But
alcoholism.
What?
For the alcoholism.
Yeah. But that's what he was remembered for. Everyone just remembers him because it was family of them. There was
there was a massive. There still is. They're all rocking about and they're all tramps.
There's some of them still alive today, but the core of the homeless, they're all long dead. So they are now. But anyway, look, let's just keep going. Well, enough of this schizo talk about sex cults and the local homeless fucking. Okay, guys, let's just keep moving, alright?
Tabletop role-playing games, especially D&D, has players who mostly attempt to emulate their favourite fantasy stories and tropes. Beginning in the mid-1970s and fully solidifying by the 1980s, virtually every fantasy story featured a ham-fisted romance subplot that culminated in a sex scene.
Did it?
Did it?
I mean, Tomb of Horrors has that gender bender in them.
This became so common in an expected trope that you would hardly find a fantasy story without a ham-fisted romance subplot that culminates in a sex scene. Even female writers do this, in almost the exact same way as the male writer. Completely different to how smut is written, where there are distinct and obvious differences between male and female writers. It's virtually always the exact same formula, and is there because it's expected to be there, and not because it adds to the story in a meaningful way. By the early 2000s, smut thinly veiled under a fantasy story is an entire genre unto itself. When did you notice the horny disease in your game? It was always there. Nerds are, in general, undersexed while overly concerned about having it.
Yeah. I think there's definitely some truth to that.
But I think the undersexed while overly concerned about having it is everyone.
Do you think so?
Everyone who, Think about it. Think about yourself whenever you're 16.
Oh yeah. Whenever you're 16, yeah. Well, like, you know, like, what else do you want to do when you're 16? Like, let's be serious, you do fucking anything to get your dick touched. Like, you know, let's just be fucking serious.
Like anything.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't, and the longer that goes on, it's the same.
But I'm worried about that sort of stuff, because then I feel like, you know what that turns into? I feel like it turns into, you know, that, I hate the term, and I try to avoid all that type of stuff, but the whole, like, incel movement, I feel like there's definitely an element of that where these people that self-describe themselves as incels they treat sex as the ultimate commodity in life.
Yeah. They
treat it as the be-all and end-all, and there's nothing else to it. That's all of it. Does that make sense?
But I think it's because they can do everything else that anybody else does, but the one thing they can't do is have sex.
Yeah.
You can masturbate.
That's
different.
Yeah.
But the one thing they can't do is have sex, because you need another person to be a willing person to be able to do that with you. Well, technically it doesn't have to be. But realistically it should be.
It really fucking should be, alright. I don't know. This gets into a completely different argument, and it really devolves into human psyche, and we've kind of touched on
Welcome to our household, because this is the conversations we have on a day-to-day.
No, but I think it's really interesting, though, because
we have weird conversations, I guess, all the time.
No, because I really want to try and understand, like, one thing I find fascinating is psychology, and I suppose that's one thing that isn't really, well, honestly, guys, really look into psychology, and there's not much known about it. Even whenever you, like, go into, like, a lot of the professionals that talk about it, a lot of them contradict each other. No one has any clear...
I'm nearly sure a lot of the times when people are coming up with terms for psychology, or trying to diagnose somebody, they literally wing it.
Yeah, I honestly do think...
Because one person could be diagnosed with this, and then another...
with the exact same thing, and they're completely different.
A different diagnosis, you know.
Oh, no, it's a spectrum, though, guys. It's a spectrum.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what I mean?
But they wing it all the time.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's kind of like, what's that one where they do autoimmune disease? Where they don't actually know what the fuck's wrong with you. It's kind of like that, but with the human brain. I believe psychology is one of those hard, really ones to wrap around. And the only thing you can really do is measure groups of human beings. And I think that's the only way to understand.
If only you could have human studies again.
Yeah, it's a pity like that. Yeah. Penny, I would love to see that MK Ultra results. Just saying, guys. But again, it is a shame, because we probably will never fully understand these things, and I suppose we're not really meant to fully understand these things. The way I look at the world is I like to think of us as like cavemen, but with like high-speed fibre optic cables.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool and all.
I seen one today that I showed you.
Oh, yeah, it was actually
that was a good one. It was a girl who works at a concert hall, and she works like the food vendor bar or whatever it is. And it was a Harry Styles gig. And I'm sure if you don't know pop culture, you probably know who Harry Styles is just from the way the world.
He was in One Direction. Yeah.
And the girls were like, as she said, like they were screaming that loud you couldn't hear his music.
Yeah.
And it was like mass hysteria. It was like what you heard from the stories here about like the Beatles, how there was that many people screaming, you didn't hear a thing, and those girls like fainting, squealing, just madness, pure madness. And she said that one of her male co-workers, why is it that women do this mass hysteria over a male artist where men don't?
Yeah,
the only time men ever get to that point is whenever they're like watching sports, or just watching sports, that's it. And but why do you never see men like going mad over like a female artist? And then in the comments of it, the top comment was it's that age-old saying that women want to be with him and men want to be him.
Yeah, I like that. One of the things so one of the big ones I try and dig into the most is I really don't like feminism, and I really don't like that MGTOW movement.
I really don't like.
Well, that's true as well.
Yeah.
But as I say, I view it as like very caveman-esque, and yeah, men and women are very, very different. But that does not mean that's not a good or a bad. Like I would argue that's a good thing. We complement each other very well.
If you have the right partner, it's perfect.
Exactly. You need different characteristics, like, you know, like I believe we're hypersocial animals. We are meant to be living with other people, and therefore you need different, like, what is the smallest tribe? A small tribe, like the smallest tribe you can break it down to is a small family. You know what I mean? And that's what you really need to survive, I believe. As I say, we are just cavemen, and I believe we need this sort of thing to survive. Otherwise, we're not going to make it. And I see all this, like, feminism and, like, you know, your Andrew Tate type of guys and all that. I see that as very self-destructive and very subversive. And I don't think they're doing anyone any favours in this way of doing things.
Yeah.
How did we end up like this? This video was about people getting the horn.
I don't know.
And we've kind of went completely off. And
I don't know.
But that would be my view on the whole.
We
like,
find it interesting.
Yeah, let us know what you think. I definitely think the worst things to have happened
We
to
should
humanity.
make a sketch channel.
We really should, just to gamble.
Just to rant on topics that like this.
Yeah, because I think it's really interesting, but they're hard to shove in to normal videos, depending on what we're doing. Like, you know, it depends if the topic comes up, then we can talk about it, but if not, we just don't really talk about it. But yeah, let us know what your views are on it all. I'm sure, I know our analytics, it's like 96% male audience.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm pretty sure we all have our views on feminism, but I definitely think the MGTOW stuff is just as dangerous to you. I think it's...
What's it called?
MGTOW, men going their own way, or like, you know, like all that type of, it's fucking, it's a really cringe, if I be honest with you. It's male feminism, essentially. It's not great. I don't
By
think...
the way, has anybody actually seen the way Andrew Tate walked?
See, this is what gets me about your fellow Andrew Tate, right? The thing is, he reminds me of like War Machine, where he tries to, it's like, I'm an alpha male, and this is like...
right, with a face like that, you know, right, rocking about saying that.
He doesn't look hard, though, to me. Like, he does not look...
he is a boxer.
I
don't know.
reckon I'd give him a fair go. Like, can we make this happen? Like, I'm not what...
Andrew Tate calls it Neckbeardia.
Like, no, but I'm serious, so honestly, he just doesn't look... Like, look at his chin.
I know, he's
got a bigger chin than him.
He does have a bigger...
Our fucking baby has a bigger chin.
1-year-old has a bigger
1-year-old
chin.
has a bigger, like, a more defined chin than him.
But have you seen the way he walks?
It's
like, comically, like, he's trying so hard to walk like a man that it looks like it's just robotic.
Yeah, it's, like, I don't know.
And as somebody says, his voice is like, he puts on a really deep voice that, like, you look at him and it's like, your voice is actually like this pitch, but he tries.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. There's something not right about the fella, and I do think he's very... you know, you see this all the time. People are like, oh, he's bad for this and that and that. It's like, yeah, I think he's just not good because I think he's pointing people in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? It's like he's disguised himself as self-help, but he's not helping.
No, he's harming.
He's doing more harm, and I see that with a lot of...
I seen another video where a school teacher said that we're like...
To be fair, though, this
9,
is a...
10 and 11-year-olds were like listening to his podcast and like quoting what he was saying.
To be fair, though, I don't know how much I trust school teachers that post on TikTok. Let's be serious. Like, you know, I'm going to assume that they're like school teachers on TikTok. Should not be teaching some fucking kids. It's like TikTok dancing nurses.
This wasn't in school. This was after school.
But you know what I mean. It's still like anyway. Like, we've gambled enough, guys. This is completely changing a different video. Check out the models. Check out the website. All that other good stuff, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
All those moments lost in time.